don't like it. I understand why it's a thing in Germany, but that doesn't make me like it anymore. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kelly again, and welcome back to my channel. Guys, I have been watching so many tier list videos on YouTube lately, and I decided to just hop right on that bandwagon and create one of my own. So my German boyfriend gave me a list of 20 things that are prevalent in German culture, and I'm going to rank order them from best to worst. Let's just get started. First up is the German language. Now look, I will admit that when I first moved to Germany, I didn't really like the sound of German. In fact, I didn't even really like the tonal sound of most Germans speaking in German. But as I continued to live there, it did start to grow on me, and now I appreciate German for the language that it is. But I will say that it has been extremely challenging for me to learn German, which may be because I haven't actually committed really to learning it. But it's pretty difficult to learn in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it at C tier. Next is German cars. Now I'm not a huge car person. I'm perfectly happy driving anything as long as it gets me from point A to point B without breaking down. So I can't really make an educated assessment here, but I do hear that German cars are highly revered for their very quality engineering, and I think they are quite pretty looking. So I'm going to put German cars at B tier. The German Autobahn, or the German highway, has some of the smoothest, most well-maintained roads I've ever driven on in my life. And as someone coming from the United States, where we have more potholes than the moon, I really appreciated driving on the German Autobahn. Plus, I think German drivers, for the most part, are way better than American drivers. So I would rank this pretty high, but those smooth roads come with a lot of construction. And it was really cool to drive fast on the speed limitless parts of the Autobahn, but it wasn't so cool to have to more frequently stop and fuel up my car with very, very expensive gas. So I'm gonna put the Autobahn at C tier. German bakeries have the most delicious, dreamy bread that you can possibly fathom. And their sandwiches are so good. You can walk into any German bakery and know that you're gonna get something amazing, and for a very inexpensive price, especially given the quality. I love German bakeries. I think about them all the time. It's probably the thing that I say that I miss most about living in Germany. I have to put them at S tier. German beer. Look, I appreciate the history of German beer, the role that it plays in German culture, and the tradition of brewing in Germany, but I just don't really like German beer that much. I'm the kind of girl that likes a good hoppy beer. I'm very drawn to IPAs and pale ales and that sort, and I just felt like there wasn't a great variety of beer in Germany, like across the entire spectrum. So it was kind of challenging for me to find an IPA in Germany. So I'm gonna have to put it at D tier. I love exploring German cities, whether it's a village or a town or a big city. They are so beautiful, and some are very picturesque. It's like walking into a storybook. I love the architecture. It's always so different, and the half-timbered houses are very cool looking, and they're so clean. Can we just talk about how clean German cities are for a second? If you were to walk around Berlin, Germany, and then walk around New York City or LA or Washington, DC, there is no comparison to how clean Germany is. It makes New York City truly look like a very smelly dumpster. And there's no one ever harassing you to buy their crappy knockoff purses or trying to scam you. I really love German cities. I have to put them at S tier. tier. German trains. Look, I know that German trains are the source for a lot of complaints in Germany because they're often delayed or they're completely canceled or there's some other issue going on with them. But as someone who comes from a country where we don't have a train system like there is in Germany, I'll take those cancellations and delays if it means that I at least have the opportunity to travel to what seems like anywhere in the country without having to drive there or board a plane. I really liked the freedom and the flexibility that German trains offered me when I was living in Germany. So I've got to put these at A tier. German windows are really special to Americans because they have functions that our windows normally don't have. Like you can tilt open a German window, which is completely foreign to any American. You can also swing it open completely like a door. I also really like the ritual of opening up my windows every day to air out my German apartment, and you just don't really do that in the United States for a couple reasons. So I'm gonna put German windows at B tier. Christmas markets in Germany are magical and I love exploring them and trying all the different types of food and drinking Glühwein and seeing all the different decorations. Christmas markets in Germany are able to bring back some of the magic that Christmas held for me whenever I was a child and still believed in Santa Claus. I love Christmas markets in Germany. I've got to put them at A tier. German water. I know that a lot of Germans are very proud of the quality of water in Germany. And look, I'm well aware that there are a lot of regions in the United States where the water is extremely chlorinated and it basically smells like you're drinking pool water. I got that. But the water from where I lived in Germany, which was Mainz, that was the water I was accustomed to, and in some other parts of Germany, there is a really high density of calcium, or as we say in the United States, it was really hard water. And I had a hard time drinking it because it just didn't taste good at all to me. And it would leave a very annoying chalky residue, specifically on the walls of my shower, which were hard to clean off, and on all of my glassware. Not a big fan of the water, at least where I was living in Germany. So I am putting it at E tier. German Fußball. I grew up playing this sport. It is hands down my favorite sport to both watch and play, but I'm just not the biggest sports person. I don't get really razzed about watching sports teams playing all of the sports. I just don't care. I appreciate the role that Fußball has in German culture and the quality of German Fußball teams, but I'm gonna put it at D tier. Next up is German cash culture, and I am not a fan. I do not like it. I want to be able to walk into a store and pay with my card, or even my phone or my watch. I don't want to have to deal with all of these dollar bills and heavy coins, my little change purse weighing down my entire bag, and constantly having to go to the ATM to withdraw cash because I don't like to carry around a lot of cash on me. I don't like it. I understand why it's a thing in Germany, but that doesn't make me like it anymore. I have to put it at, it's at E tier. David Hasselhoff is, sure, he's an American actor, but I would argue that he was way more popular in Germany than he ever was in the United States. I knew David Hasselhoff as simply the guy that was on Baywatch. I had no idea that he was in a movie called Knight Rider or anything else that he's been in. I had no idea that he had an entire singing career, that there are actual albums out there with his voice singing on them, until my German friends told me that he was a singer, which blew my mind. And then I learned about his performance at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. I had no idea, but I don't really care for him very much. I'm just gonna put them at E tier. Coffee and cake, or coffee and kuchen, is one of my favorite things to do on a free afternoon in Germany. In fact, I don't think there's a better way to spend a couple of free hours than sitting at an outdoor cafe and sipping on some coffee and eating some delicious cake. It's German, so you know it's gonna be good, and just taking in the sights and the smells, and if you're with friends, enjoying their company. I love it. I love the tradition of coffee and cake in the afternoon. I love it so much, I'm gonna put it at S tier. Next up is Met, or German sushi as it is often referred to. Met, for those of you who don't know, is quite literally minced raw pork that's been seasoned with some salt and pepper and is consumed completely raw. And then Met Brötchen is when you take Met and you layer it on top of a roll, and maybe you add some chopped onions and parsley for garnish, and you consume it, again, completely raw. I can almost guarantee you that if you ask any American if they would ever eat raw pork, they would give you a look of absolute and utter disgust. In fact, I was just telling my coworkers about Met the other day, and they actually did not believe me that there are people eating raw pork. But in Germany, there are people eating Met without even giving it a second thought or realizing that it's considered weird in other cultures. Now, I did try it once. It took a discernible amount of effort for me to embrace the idea of eating raw pork, and it's just not for me. The texture was absolutely appalling, and I hated how it got stuck in my teeth. I might try it again because I realize that I'm working through a bias from years and years of learning to never eat raw pork, but for now, I gotta put it at E tier. Next is Oktoberfest, and while there are a lot of fests in Germany, Oktoberfest is certainly the king of them all. In just the short 2 weeks that Oktoberfest is in operation, it attracts 6 million visitors from all corners of the world. 6 million people converge on Munich, Germany just to go to Oktoberfest. That is nuts. It is a massive, massive fest, and I would readily agree with anyone who says that you should go see Oktoberfest for yourself. You absolutely should. Everyone's wearing their dirndl and their lederhosen. There are rides. There's a lot of culture and tradition involved. There's music. There's good food. And of course, there are these huge, huge beer tents that are so beautifully decorated, and everybody's just having a good time. You should absolutely go and see it. Once. I am just, maybe this is the old lady in me coming out, but I just don't really like to pay a lot of money and spend precious vacation days to go to a very crowded place just to drink beer. And that's really what I perceive the main point of Oktoberfest to be. I got it, it's a fun party, but I just would rather save all my money and drink at home, or go to a local bar, or go to a more unique place and drink my beer there with far fewer people. I know that might just be me. I know a lot of people really enjoy going to Oktoberfest, and if I lived close to Munich, I would probably go more frequently, but I think I'm all set on Oktoberfest. So that's why I'm gonna put it at D tier. Next is sauerkraut. I really like sauerkraut. I grew up eating it. My mom actually makes her own sauerkraut. I don't really know how she picked up that hobby, but I think it has a great flavor to it. It's a little tangy, it's vinegary, and I love vinegar, and I think it complements meat dishes really, really well. I like sauerkraut. I'm gonna put it at B tier. And then of course, you can't talk about sauerkraut without talking about German Wurst, or sausages. There are so many different types of sausages in Germany, sausages that I didn't even know existed until I lived there, and they're all good. I've never met a Wurst I didn't like. And I like that you can pretty much depend on always being able to get a Wurst. Whether you're going to a restaurant or you're going to a fest, there's going to be some sort of German Wurst available to you. So I would put it at A tier, but I'm gonna put it at B tier because I'm already looking at the next picture, which is of schnitzel. And there is nothing like eating a good German schnitzel. It's delicious. My mouth is literally watering right now just thinking about eating schnitzel with like a nice squeeze of fresh lemon juice, or oh my god, if it is served with cranberries, I'm done. That is, oh my god, I don't know if you can tell, it's getting close to lunchtime for me and I'm very hungry. Schnitzel is so good, it's gotta go on A tier. Now this is a picture of the Sylvester celebrations in Germany, or New Year's celebrations, which involves a lot of fireworks. Now I've been lucky to have the opportunity to experience Sylvester celebrations in a couple different places now, and each one kind of has their own little flavor. And I've got to say that when I went to Munich, it was ramped up like something I could never even imagine, and I heard Berlin is even crazier, so I can't imagine it. And I really liked it. I mean, I was terrified for my life for a good portion of it because it's just random people shooting off these giant fireworks all around you, and sometimes they fall and sometimes get shot into the crowd or into the buildings. But I did really get to enjoy the experience of seeing these Sylvester fireworks celebrations, so I'm gonna put it at B tier. The last one is the German Therme. A Therme is essentially a collection of different pools ranging in temperatures and of course a bunch of different saunas. It was my first experience with the German FKK, or free body culture. I did a whole video about it because it really was my first time being naked in front of a co-ed group of strangers, and to say it was life-changing is it's an understatement. It was something else. Now, I didn't really like the sauna part of the Therme because I don't enjoy feeling like I'm being cooked in an oven as though I'm a turkey, but I like all the other aspects of the Therme. I love trying all the different pools. There's restaurants with good food, there are cocktails that you can buy, there are sunbeds, and all these other things that you can do, and I think it's a great way to relax and unwind on a weekend. So I'm going to put the Therme at A tier. Alright guys, that's it. That is my final ranking of these 20 components of German culture. If you disagreed with how I rank ordered these things, feel free to let me know in the comments. And actually, I'm going to share the link for this tier list in the description box of my video. So click on that link to go and rank order these components yourself. And feel free to take a screenshot of your final list and send it to me on Instagram so that I can see how your list differs from mine. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little different from what I normally do, so if you did like it, let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much to all of my patrons for the support you've given me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!